What does it take to create a Batman?
What?
Not the suit, not the gadgets, but the man beneath the cowl. That was the obsession driving one of the most chilling and morally disturbing plans ever conceived in the Batman universe. The goal was simple on paper and deeply sinister in practice. Recreate Bruce Wayne from scratch, genetically, psychologically, and tragically. Part 1. Building the biology. The first phase of the plan was genetic. The architect of this scheme understood something fundamental. Batman begins with Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne begins with his DNA. Fortunately, or rather conveniently, obtaining that DNA wasn't particularly difficult. Bruce Wayne, over decades of activity in Gotham, had left biological traces across the city. A hair here, a blood sample there. As the speaker bluntly put it, he left it all over town.
Not remotely what I meant.
With the genetic material secured, the next step was finding the right vessel. Not just any family, but the right family.
But when you're making a Batman, genetics is only part of the story. The rest is tragedy.
Deep in Neo-Gotham, a young couple was identified whose psychological profiles were described as nearly identical to those of Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce's murdered parents. Their temperament, their values, their emotional makeup. A near-perfect match. Then came the most invasive and disturbing part of the plan. The father was administered what appeared to be a routine flu shot, but it was no ordinary vaccine. The injection contained a nanotech solution, microscopic technology designed to rewrite his reproductive material at the molecular level, replacing it with an exact genetic copy of Bruce Wayne's. He had no idea. He never consented. He never knew. The result? His wife gave birth to a child who was biologically half hers and half Bruce Wayne's. A son who carried the genetic blueprint of the world's greatest detective without either parent ever suspecting the truth. Part 2. Engineering the trauma.
You are the slinking coward who murdered Thomas and Martha Wayne.
That was a lifetime ago.
Yes, my lifetime. You took them without mercy or regret and in cold blood, Jill.
How do you know this? How could you possibly?
I know because I watched it happen. I know because I am the son of the man you murdered. I am Bruce Wayne.
But genetics alone don't make Batman. The architects of this plan understood that Bruce Wayne wasn't forged in a lab. He was forged in an alley, on a rainy night, watching his parents die.
Bruce, stay back!
Take whatever you want!
Nothing personal, just business. They told me you had it coming. You don't have to do this.
That's a huge detail that you missed.
So the second phase of the plan was psychological. The blueprint was already written by history. All they had to do was repeat it. The timing was carefully chosen. When the child turned 8 years old, the same age Bruce Wayne was when his world shattered. The setup was deliberate and theatrical. The family would attend an adventure film, something thrilling and larger than life, a mirror of the night young Bruce watched Zorro with his parents. And then, as they stepped out into the night full of excitement and innocence, an assassin would be waiting. The killer would leap from the shadows and murder the child's family right before his eyes. Cold, calculated, staged to the last detail. The plan was built on a cruel but studied logic, that this singular, devastating trauma, the helplessness, the loss, the horror, would set the child on the path to becoming Batman. That grief, weaponized early enough, could replicate the man. The break in the plan. But here is where the machinery of this dark scheme broke down entirely. The assassin, the final instrument in this carefully orchestrated tragedy, refused to pull the trigger. In the end, the one variable they couldn't engineer was human conscience. They could rewrite DNA, they could manufacture circumstance, but they could not manufacture the willingness to gun down an innocent family in cold blood. The origin would not be repeated. Batman, it turns out, cannot simply be built.
The attempted recreation of the Dark Knight. Gotham City has always believed Batman was born from tragedy. A frightened child, a dark alley, 2 gunshots. That moment created Bruce Wayne. But decades later, someone began asking a terrifying question. What if Batman could be recreated? Not symbolically, not spiritually, scientifically. In the shadows of Neo-Gotham, a secret project emerged. One so morally disturbing that even within the world of Batman, it feels almost forbidden to discuss. The first stage was deceptively simple. DNA. Because beneath the cape and cowl, Batman begins with Bruce Wayne's biology. And over decades of crime fighting, Terry McGinnis. Biologically, he was half Mary and half Bruce Wayne. A hidden son created without Bruce ever knowing, without Warren ever knowing. A manufactured heir to Batman. And the world continued spinning as if nothing had changed. But in secret, Project Batman Beyond had already succeeded. Terry McGinnis grew up believing he was ordinary, rebellious, restless, emotional.
And how's our little A+ doing?
He's sleeping. You'll hardly know he's around.
Forget it. Jurgen has this new vid I want to check out.
I want a
Nothing about his
divorce!
childhood suggested he carried the DNA of Gotham's greatest vigilante. But subtle similarities began surfacing. The intelligence, the instincts, the anger. Even his defiance mirrored Bruce Wayne in disturbing ways. And yet, Terry lacked one thing: the defining fracture, the trauma. Because Batman is not born through genetics alone. Batman is born through loss. And the architects of the project knew it. So they prepared Phase 2. That if enough emotional pain was inflicted onto the right genetics, the Dark Knight would rise again naturally. Not trained, not guided, created. And in that single moment, the entire philosophy behind the project collapsed. Because they discovered something terrifying. Batman cannot be manufactured through formulas. You can recreate DNA, you can imitate environments, you can simulate trauma, but you cannot force the soul of a human being to become Bruce Wayne. And yet, despite the failure of the plan, Terry McGinnis still became Batman. Not because destiny was engineered, not because science forced him into the role, but because Terry made the choice himself. That is the final irony of Project Batman Beyond.
A little. I'm more surprised that I lived so long.
Batman, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Or have you met?
Not now!
Great. What did they used to call it?
The project failed completely, and still produced Batman. Not through manipulation, but through free will. Terry wasn't Bruce Wayne. He was something different, more emotional, more impulsive, more human. But that humanity is exactly what made him worthy of the cowl. Bruce Wayne was forged by tragedy. Terry McGinnis was forged by choice. And maybe that makes his story even more powerful. Because in the end, Gotham didn't need another Bruce Wayne. It needed a new Batman.
Thanks for watching. Do free to like and subscribe.